When I was in that video store making not making films, thinking about making films, renting films, I knew one day I would be a director. Everyone heard me say that. I don't think anyone else quite believed it as much as I did, and I don't even know why I believed it that much. But I did believe it. I mean, I figured everybody who spent time on a movie set tried to make their movies look good, the worst ones I'd ever seen. I'm sure they worked really hard on them. What could stop me from being different from them? You think you have to do everything, and you don't. That's not your job. You don't need to know any of that.
Are we ready? Let's go! 3, 2, 1, action!
Ready, settle, and action.
As a filmmaker, I decided to talk about a couple of things that I learned very, very, very early on, way before I ever made a movie, that I proceeded to utilize in my career when I became a working professional. And if you ask me, how do I blend these different elements, it's what I learned then. And I'm gonna try to pass this on now. I made my first movie in '91. It was called Reservoir Dogs. It was released in '92. And 4 years before that, I was a clerk in a video store in Manhattan Beach, California called Video Archive. When I was in that video store making not making films, thinking about making films, renting films, I knew one day I would be a director. Everyone heard me say that. I don't think anyone else quite believed it as much as I did, and I don't even know why I believed it that much. But I did believe it. When I was in my 20s, I saw everything that came out. I saw Out of Africa twice at the Cinerama Dome. I saw all the epics, I saw all the Oscar movies, I saw all the comedy vehicles that came out, but I saw all the independent films. I saw a low-budget movie, an American independent film, or an exploitation movie. I paid special attention to those films, because I figured if I ever got a chance to make a movie, it would probably be a low-budget movie, and so I wanted to see what was possible, what was out there that were made for $500,000 or $600,000 or $800,000 or $1 million. The looks that they had, the quality of them was very variable. And film can be very, very unforgiving, and if you don't have enough lights to create good lighting, if you don't have enough time to create good lighting, if you don't have enough talent. And I saw a lot of movies done in that budget range. They got an image and it looked more or less professional, but back in '88, it would be what I would think of as television, even though television looks better now. All right, but I would think of it as sort of television. But at least television looks professional. Then there were the movies that just really looked bad. And they looked really cheesy, and they looked amateurish. And then there were the films that were better than that. And I use an example, Coen Brothers' Blood Simple, all right, where they had really good elements, and that was really special. Was I knew what I wanted my movies to look like. I knew the ones that I wanted them to look like. I wanted them to look like Blood Simple or something comparable to that. I didn't know how to do that. And so that was this sort of Damocles hanging over my head during all my talk and all my aspirations of being a director is, would my stuff look pathetic? Or would it look beyond professional, but would it look good? And I didn't, because I had no technical knowledge, I didn't know how to do that. I mean, I figured everybody who spent time on a movie set tried to make their movies look good, the worst ones I'd ever seen. I'm sure they worked really hard on them. What could stop me from being different from them? I wrote a script called Reservoir Dogs, and we got the money to make the movie. And when I was in pre-production, I sent the script to the Sundance Lab for the director's program, and I got accepted into it. And that was a tremendous opportunity. Absolutely tremendous. Because also, a lot of the other people were there hoping to get their movies made. I was actually going to make my movie. I was going to go and do this wonderful course and then go into production. It was a special, special thing. And part of the thing of the Sundance Lab is they'd have all these really wonderful professionals come in and talk to you and talk about your film, and they watch the stuff that you did, and they give you advice, and you could ask them questions. And we were there for like 3 weeks. On the first day he was there, they put me together with Terry Gilliam. And we had a little lunch by the picnic tables there, and he had read the script and he liked it, and so we were talking. At this time in film, he was probably the most renowned of all the great visual directors, of all the great visionary directors of that particular time. And it was interesting. So I'm talking to him, and he's giving me advice about this or that and the other. Half the time I'm talking to him, I just can't wait to get back home to my video store so I can tell all my friends that I've been talking to Terry Gilliam. While I was there talking to him, well, this is a visual director. This is a visual director when he did Brazil in Baron Munchausen, and he continued to execute it. So he knew what he was doing in this regards. So he was the guy to ask this question too. The way I asked it was, well, Terry, you have a vision. You have a direct cinematic vision in your movies, and it goes from movie to movie to movie, and you can see that. How do you do that? And he goes, well, Quentin, maybe because you've never really been on a movie set before, maybe you don't understand exactly how it works. So let me explain it to you a little bit. Quentin, it's not your job to create your vision. It's your job to have a vision. And then it's your job to hire talented individuals, to hire talented artists who understand your vision. And you articulate it to them. And then they take your vision and they create it. And by them creating it, you part it back a little bit, you add a little bit to it, but your vision is still a two-dimensional vision. They will take the different elements of your vision and make it three-dimensional. And then you'll get back more than you gave them, and then you'll know even more what you're talking about and what you're seeing, and then the vision will get filled in. You think you have to do everything, and you don't. You don't need to know anything about sewing to have wonderful costumes in your films. You just need to express what you want to the costume designers. You don't need to have a degree in engineering to have magnificent sets. You need to describe what it is you want. You don't need to know how to take a bunch of different light stands and put them together to create a specific lighting effect. That's not your job. You don't need to know any of that. What you need to know is you need to have a vision, and you need to know how to express it. And then you let the other people take it and do it for you. That is what a director does. And in one answer like that, that sort of Damocles went away. Because I did have a vision, I did know what I want, and I could describe it. That I could do, I can describe it, I can talk about it. That is what I know I can do. And pretty much since then, that's what I did. And that is how, if you think my films have a certain look or a certain aesthetic, that is how I've created it. I've worked with very talented people and described to them ad nauseum, through both my descriptions and through cinematic examples and through comic books and through all kinds of different other little multimedia things that I like to evoke, make it more approachable. Keep talking about story. keep talking about character, and you're going to work with people who know exactly what they want, and that's wonderful. But you're also going to work with a lot of people who are going to be intimidated and don't quite get it. And it's your job to, in the nicest, most loving way possible, make them get it. I even asked him a question about crossing the line, and then he took a napkin and drew out this diagram of, okay, you guys looking this way, and then the guy's looking that way, and he finished the drawing, and he starts to throw it away. Hey, hold it in it! Can I have that? And he goes, what do, oh, well, you know, because it's a little, you've described it so well, so I have this little thing that I can look at, and no, I wanted an original Terry Gilliam drawing that I could show to my friends at Video Archives, that this is drawn by Terry Gilliam.